Hi, we're here with Bruno Lorenzet from Stafford, and he was in World War II. And everyone knows him as Shany. So I'm going to call you Shany, if that's okay.
All right.
So when did you join the military?
I went in on January 1943.
In what branch?
I went in. I went to Devons, and they put me in the Air Force.
Oh, okay.
And then the Air Force, from up there, I went to Florida, and while down in Florida, I playing football on the beach, and my sergeant had boots on, and he broke all the toes in my foot. So I had to go on sick leave, and so I took no basic training.
Really?
But then they wanted to put me in a school, so they put me. They made tests on school. I said I'd like to be an airplane mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
I took the test, and he said, "You weren't going to be there because you can't even tell which way the wheels are going." So I said, "Okay, what else?" He said, "How about a radio operator?" I said, "Well, yeah, all right, I'll try for a radio operator." So we tried to give me the test, and I couldn't make out dots and dashes. It's no good for that. He says, "How about photography?" I never took a picture in my life, I told him, except with a box camera. There's where we're going to put you. He said, "We're going to teach you, and you're going to do it our way."
Yeah.
So they shipped me to Lowry Field in Denver, Colorado. And I went through photography school in Denver, Colorado. And after we went through school in Colorado, I was picked by this lieutenant to go to Trimethylground school. From the photos that we were getting from the planes were just photos from what you call the guns, the wing guns and stuff like that, and we were developing in those and doing those in the photograph. But when they come out with Trimethylground, that was the P-38 had 3 cameras on it, and 1 camera shooting down and 2 on the side, so that they were able to pick up height and weight and depth from the photographs.
Wow.
So that outfit had to be set up, and so they sent me to school in Colorado too. There was another school there that I went to, and it was about 2 months of course that we were there. They taught us everything in there, and when we graduated from that, well, we had the graduation from, and then they were looking for tail gunners, and they asked me if I wanted to be a tail gunner. I said no. I didn't want to be a tail gunner. So they said, "Well, you're still in that outfit, so we need one overseas." And I said, "Why do you need one of those?" He says, "They sent one over about 6 months ago, and in the Mediterranean, a German Stuka dive bomber hit the ship, and they lost their whole crew. There was 31 of them, and they lost them all. So he says, you got to go replace those guys." And he says, "Oh, all right." So we took a basic training in Salt Lake City, Utah, and then one day they put us on a train, and we came cross country into Newport News, Virginia. And then from Newport we took the American, it was an American ship, I forgot the name of it. There was about 5,000 of us on it. And we went right to Casablanca, Africa. And then when we were in Casablanca, we spent a few days there, a few weeks, because they were wondering where we were going and what we were doing. And so we went through Casablanca. I was there at Christmas time the next year, the following year, when I was in 43. And I remember there was 4 of us, and we went into Casablanca, and we were broke. We had no money. And we went up to a fellow that owned a restaurant, and we talked to him, and he knew a little British. And he said, "Could you give us something for Christmas?" He said, "What you got?" I said, "What do you got?" He says, "Let me see that fountain pen." So I pulled off and I showed him the fountain pen. I'll feed the whole 4 of you for that fountain pen.
Wow.
I said, "Whoa, that's wonderful." So I sat down. We had a wonderful meal. The eggs and everything he did for us. I gave him the fountain pen. It was a present from somebody. I don't remember who it was, but I didn't have much use for a fountain pen anyway. And then from there we went up to Algiers, and we were in Algiers for about a month, not even a month. Then from Algiers we went to Tunisia, and then from Tunisia we went to Egypt. We were going all up in northern Africa, and I mean it was cold up around. We were wearing overcoats and snow we had up there, and we were riding the railroad, 40 and 8 cars, 40 men or 8 mules. They called them the 40 and 8 cars. Mm-hmm. They were pretty well known in France and everything. They used to use it. And we happened to get one that it wasn't too bad, but it had mules in it and stunk.
No, I bet.
And we had all our sea rations on the floor, and we were sitting on the sea rations, no seats, no nothing. And there was 31 of us in one car. And it got kind of stinky in there, so you had to open the doors while you're riding through, but the railroad's there, you go up 20 miles and it would stop. You get off and do your business, get back on it again, go 20 miles, stop. And in fact, we lost it in Algiers, and we got out on the road, we bummed a ride from a British truck, and he brought us up to the next depot, and we waited there 5 minutes, and the train came in after we went to go out there with the trucks.
Really?
They were really slow.
Yeah.
Well, then from Algiers, we went back to Algiers, and then we got on the boat there, and we went through the Mediterranean. We went down through the Suez Canal, and we stopped we were in the convoy. We got hit in the Mediterranean from the German Stuka divers before we went into the canal. That was really something. I was on guard duty that night on the ship, and it was up near one of the main decks, and but it was in front of along the thing there was a wall about this thick with wood, you know, and a rope on it and everything. And my duty was to walk up and down to see the guys when we got hit with the Stuka diver. I got down below that wall because there wasn't going to come, no machine gun was going, I don't think, going through there. So I got down on my four knees, and I was looking at the planes coming, and one dropped a torpedo. And I said, "Oh shit!" But there was a British destroyer right next to us, had a net out. It caught the torpedo.
Really?
Oh boy, did we cheer on that one! You know, he caught the torpedo, and then the Stuka dived down where he was gone, so we didn't come back. So then we went through the Suez Canal, and we ended in Bombay, India. Yeah, in Bombay. We spent a couple of weeks in Bombay because they wanted to get us accustomed to being, the temperature and the humidity was terrible there. So then when they brought us into Calcutta, outside Barrackport, it was about 10 miles out of Calcutta. The minute we got off the truck, we got strafed where the Japanese come in, and we had to dive in the trenches, you know. And we all got down, and first time off the truck, it was something. But they strafed in the ground, they didn't hit nobody. They took off and they never came back there. I never saw them again. But that's where my headquarters was, in Barrackport. And we set up a big photo lab there, and we had our squadron was called the 9th Photo Recon Squadron. And we, being in this unit, we were the 31 Club, they called us, in the 9th Photo Unit. And so there was a big villa there. They took over the whole villa, our home. And there was a big room up there in the home. And that's where we were going to make these templates. We take the photographs and the photos of them and put them together, and then we used to make the templates up and down, and we'd photograph it so that if the general wanted to know how high the bridge was, he knew how high or how low it was or something. And we had 5 B-25s. 4 or 5, I forgot. 5 of them, I think, yeah. 5 B-25s. And they had They were the best ship they had over the Pratt & Whitney engine and everything. And we had cameras mounted on the inside fuselage. One on the right and one on the left. Big cameras, real ones. The film was about this big. And, I forgot how many, 7-inch film. And we were a photo squadron, so our squadron was never, our planes didn't have no armor on them at all. All they did was photograph. So when we went out with the, well, let me get you back there. Before we started making those planes, they needed help in the photo lab. I worked in the photo lab. They needed people to go up and take cameras, shots with the B-25s, and I did that. And I even rode piggyback on a P-38, back of the pilot. It was a real squadron. There was 330 of us in that squadron. It was a wonderful. We had a wonderful Italian cook. We had a wonderful Polish baker, and boy, I mean, we ate well. They were good. But right across the street from us was a poor British outfit, and they used to make pots of goulash and everything. They used to come over and beg, "Can we eat with you tonight?" Our cook said, "Come on, sit down." So they'd sit with us, you know. It was something. And we were in the town called Barrackmore. It was British, little small town, 10 miles out of Calcutta. You couldn't live in Calcutta, and even where we were was the people out there. Let me slow down.
Yeah.
The people out there, they don't have anything to burn or fire, so they have cows and oxen, and they use the droppings from the cows and the straw and everything, and they dry it. They put it on the wall and it dries, and when it dries, it burns, but it smells.
Well, I'm sure it does.
And if out there in Calcutta, as you're walking, that smell hits you right here. You can't look below it. You can't breathe. You can't get above it. It stinks so bad. Calcutta was terrible. We were in there, used to go in the morning, and the city had these trucks that they used to load, go around the streets picking up all the dead, and you see all these feet hanging, the dump trucks. And they'd go up to the Hooghly Bridge, it was over the river, and they'd just back up to the bridge and dump all in the river. And then you're looking down the river, and all these sharks are coming up the river. They eat them all.
Wow.
That was the way they were getting rid of the people. They couldn't bury them all, and they don't bury there. They burn them. You know, they put them on logs, they put rice in their mouth, and they burn them. And so they used to dump them into the Hooghly River, and the sharks would come up and eat them all. We used to like to stay out of Calcutta. It was out of bounds, and we couldn't eat there. The only thing, they had a Red Cross there and another place. We could get some ice cream, but it was stuff that was flown in, because all our food was flown into us. I ended up with diarrhea. I weighed 185 pounds when I went in there, 180 rather, and I went down to 140. From the diarrhea.
Wow.
I was going every hour on the hour. So they shipped me up there in the mountains. They shipped me up in northern India, up in Darjeeling. That's way up in well, it's right at the foothills of Mount Everest. And from where I was, you could see Mount Everest there, you know, at the tip. We flew out by Mount Everest all the time, but not over the top, because that's 28,000 feet. We had no oxygen. We used to fly along the side, and going into Kunming. And I didn't go too much into Kunming because it was a long flight. It was a longer flight. And usually there was other guys that wanted to go up there. I went up there once or twice, and that was it. So we made it back to New York. And from New York, I went to camp. Finally, I got released at Camp Devens. It was a snowy day the day I was coming home. It was the following December, and it was snowing, and they left me off at McCormick's drugstore in a bus.
I appreciate you sharing that with us, and I know the town of Stafford would appreciate it as well.